Hello and welcome to the podcast. This is Ron's Amazing Stories. We have stories that should thrill you a little and chill you a little.
It's amazing.
What you'll hear are adventures sent in by you guys, classic stories from the pulp mags, and episodes from the golden age of radio. We have special segments like Ghost Stories with Sylvia.
That's amazing.
And These Are Your Stories. So settle in for the next hour and enjoy the show. One more thing. You just might want to prepare yourself to be taken away from today.
Another 5-minute mystery.
This 5-minute mystery is being brought to you by Train Travel.
Oh, are we being sponsored by Amtrak?
No.
Union Pacific?
No.
BNSF Railway?
Not that I know of.
So no revenue again.
No, but we do have a story about trains.
Oh, goody.
Inspector Howard, I asked to have you come up here today because I wanted to explain this case in person.
Well, I'm anxious to hear about it, sir.
On the 6:54 train from Chicago West today, there'll be a private car. In that car will be James Mayhew. He's carrying with him almost $1 million in jewels, which he wishes to take to the West Coast. He trusts no one with them. Whew. Now, I want you to watch the entrance to that private car like a hawk. One of our trainmen, Mr. Barnes, will join you at the train. He'll have a letter from me.
All right, sir. I'll do my best to prevent an accident.
You know, I've been a railroad man all my life, Inspector. Used to be a conductor right on one of these trains.
Yes, I know. You showed me that in the letter when you met me in Chicago. By the way, you're sure Mayhew is alone in there?
Yes, except for the steward. You know, though, I think I'll just step back there and see if everything's all right before it's time for him to go to bed.
Okay, I'll wait here for you.
Mr. Inspector!
Yeah, what's the matter?
I'm the steward for Mr. Mayhew's car, sir. An awful thing has happened.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, they sent me to the galley for something. Well, sir, when I came back, Mr. Barnes was gone, and there was Mr. Mayhew, shot, sir. Shot right through the head.
Well, come on, let's get in there fast. Where is he?
Right there, sir. Right there on the floor.
He's dead, all right. Where's Barnes?
I don't know, sir. I don't know. He was gone when I came back.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know, sir.
Hey, quick, it's in that locker. Open it up. Barnes! What's happened? Here, wait, I'll have that gag off in a jiffy.
Boy, that steward. Hold him. Grab him quick before he gets away.
No.
He hit me over the head and then bound and gagged me. I came to when he put me in that locker there. Then I heard a shot. His Mayhew.
Yes, he's dead, Barnes. Shot through the head.
The jewels.
I haven't had time to look.
Search the steward. He has them. He'd planned to throw me off the train and make his getaway at the next stop.
Did you notice what time it was when you came to, Barnes?
Yes, I did. I got my hands free and I could see through one of the air holes. It was 9 minutes to 11.
I didn't do it, sir. I swear I didn't.
I'm sure you didn't, Steward. In fact, just to prove it, Barnes, I'm putting you under arrest, at least until we can reach Chicago by telephone.
In just a moment, we'll see why the inspector arrested Barnes instead of the steward. But first...
Okay, please don't tell me that this solution is going to be something lame about how the time was said.
Well, you know these mysteries. It appears their motto is, the lamer the better.
Yeah, but how someone says the time?
Perhaps it will be something cool like the angle of the bullet, or velocity versus gravity.
Oh, hey, that would be neat.
But the truth is, it's going to be lame.
BG, of that, I have no doubt.
And now, back to our 5-minute mystery.
Me? Under arrest? What?
Yes, Barnes, you made one mistake, and I'm willing to take a chance that'll hang you. When I asked you what time it was, you said it was 9 minutes to 11. Any railroad man with the experience the real Barnes has had would naturally say 10:51. You've been impersonating Barnes, went in and shot Mayhew, and locked yourself in the locker, gagged. And just to prove it...
No.
The jewels are right here in your pocket. Nice work, Barnes, but not nice enough.
Hey, BG, what time is it?
Funny, it's 8:39.
Wow, are you a conductor?
Hardly.
Well, I hope you can save this with a joke.
I can try. What did the train conductor say to the disinterested students?
I don't know.
All aboard!
What's that you said?
Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Paul Simon once said that there's something about the sound of a train that's very romantic, nostalgic, and hopeful. I too have always loved the idea of the train. It has meant a trip into the past and a place to escape my present. Today's stories are all about the train. We begin with a review of the audiobook Orphan Train Rider, a bit of American history that I had no idea existed. Then we hear an epic ghost train story from a listener in South Carolina. This one is amazing. We end with award-winning actor Rex Harrison starring in a tale called Night Train, a World War II spy thriller. So let's blow the whistle on this intro and start the show. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories. Audible has sponsored the show now since July of 2019. We have reviewed more than 140 audiobooks, and the list keeps growing. Did you know that Audible has over 200,000 books available? And a lot of those are included in the free catalog. Audible is amazing, and it is the perfect companion to Ron's Amazing Stories. If you like this podcast, you're going to love Audible. So what am I listening to? Orphan Train Rider, One Boy's True Story by Andrea Warren. I often learn things when I create this segment. This time I have something that I never would have imagined to be true. The Orphan Train movement was a supervised welfare program that transported children from the crowded eastern cities of the United States to foster homes located largely in rural areas of the Midwest. Orphan trains operated between 1854 and 1929, relocating about 200,000 children. But who were these kids? The founders of the Orphan Train movement claimed that these children were orphaned, abandoned, abused, or homeless. But this wasn't always true. They were mostly the children of immigrants and of the poor. To be fair, some were adopted by loving families. Others were not so fortunate. Ineffective screening of the caretakers and insufficient follow-ups on placements led to many of the children being used as slave farm labor. So what is this book actually about? Well, in recent years, some of the riders of those trains have begun to share their stories. Andrea Warren, the author, tells of the history and the story of Lee Nelling, who in 1926 rode an orphan train to Texas. Here's a bit of his story and a clip from the book.
Lee Nailing was 7 years old when his mother died. He cannot remember her, and he does not remember her death. Lee's younger brother Leo, then 4, remembers their mother's funeral and being lifted up by a neighbor so he could see in her coffin. Lee cannot. In 1924, the year his mother died, Lee's name was Alton Lou Clement. He was the middle of 7 children and had 2 older brothers, Ross and Fred, an older sister, Evelyn, and 3 younger brothers, Leo, Gerald, and George, the new baby. From what Lee can piece together about that time, his father was overcome with grief over his wife's death. For a few months he tried to care for his 7 children. Then, perhaps because of his sorrow, or because he made too little money from their small farm in upstate New York, or because of some weakness in his own character, he gave up. He told his 3 oldest children that they would have to leave home and take care of themselves. He gave the baby to family friends. Somebody else took Gerald, then a year old. Although he is now a great-grandfather, Lee has never forgotten what happened to Leo and himself. Someone, probably our father, took us to an orphanage and left us there, the Jefferson County Orphan Asylum in Watertown, New York. We had no idea what was happening to us. We just wanted to be with our family. Instead, we were suddenly in this strange, unfriendly place where no one ever spoke kindly to us. We slept in dormitories on cots, surrounded by other kids. We were told we were orphans, but I didn't understand how we could be since our father was alive. At first, Dad paid $3 a week for our care. I guess that was too much for him because a short time later, we became wards of the state. We went from being part of a close family to feeling like outcasts. Nobody visited us, nobody wanted us, nobody loved us. We were just 2 more homeless kids in a country that already had too many. As a 7-year-old, Lee had no way of knowing that the care of large numbers of homeless and orphan children had been a problem in America for almost a century. Before the 1800s, if children lost both parents, family members or neighbors would raise them. Usually the new parents did not legally adopt these children, but they might give them their family name and think of them as their own. The government rarely took part in these arrangements. Even when orphanages became necessary, they were almost always run by charities like churches. Catholic nuns started the first American orphanage in 1729 in Natchez, Mississippi, for the children of settlers who had been killed by Indians. But for the next 100 years, there were very few orphanages in this country. By the early 1800s, so many American children were orphaned or had a parent or parents who could not take care of them that the old system no longer worked. Huge orphanages were built, sometimes housing more than 1,000 children. Many of them were in big cities in the East, including Boston, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York. Others were in smaller places like Watertown. Why were there so many orphans? Why could family and friends no longer take care of orphans as they had in the past? There are several reasons. In the early 1800s, the United States began to change from a country in which most people lived with several generations of their family on farms to an industrial nation in which many people lived in cities where they knew no one. The invention of farm machinery meant that fewer workers were needed on farms. At the same time, thousands of workers were needed for the new factories being built in the cities. Too many people wanted the factory jobs, however, which kept wages low. The people lucky enough to find factory jobs often worked in dangerous conditions. If they were hurt or killed, other workers were always ready to take their place. People often worked 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Even so, many parents could barely feed and clothe themselves and their children. In other families, the parents forced older children to leave to make space for a new baby, even if the children were only 6 or 7 years old themselves. At that time, the law treated children who were 7 and older as adults, so the jails were often full of youngsters who had been caught stealing. Children of 12 and older could be put to death for that crime. Their punishment was carried out at public hangings that other street children would come to watch. Some of these parents regularly visited their children and paid something for their care. If they could, they would eventually take their children home. Other children never saw their parents again. Lee did not know if his father was going to come back for him and his brother. When the orphanage door closed, he felt like a prisoner who might never be freed.
This is a fascinating book and well worth hearing. As you can tell from the clip, the narrator does a good job telling this story. But in truth, the history, stories, and gut-wrenching truth make this a must-listen. I was appalled, surprised, and even emotional as the story unfolded. There are ups and downs, but knowing this part of history is important. I think you will agree. Now, if you want to hear Orphan Train Rider, head to audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories, and you can have it for free. Audible is offering a free audiobook in 30 days to give you the opportunity to check out the service. You can also stream or download, for free, thousands of included audiobooks, podcasts, and Audible Original in the Plus catalog. There is so much to do that you will never run out of material. So, to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/Ron's Amazing Stories. You won't regret it. Thank you, Audible.
These are your stories. Special edition.
Our story for this time was sent in by Sam Waters. Probably not his real name. This is the most incredible story I've ever heard, and I'm not sure if I can believe it or not. But Sam sounds so sincere that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It is a train story which fits our theme today, and Sam has titled it The Royal Palm Derailed. Hold on to your fedora. This is One Crazy Ride. I was 22 years old and had just moved in with my cousin. We had a band, and so of course we tried to play hard and party harder. That being said, we always had a house full of bandmates hanging out. One spring night we were done practicing and were chillin'. I was sitting on the couch across from my cousin who was passed out in his recliner. All of a sudden, he springs up, looks at me and says, "We gotta go to the train trestle. Now." The train trestle was an old abandoned railroad track that led to a wooden bridge, still intact but charred. We grew up in a South Carolina town and there wasn't that much to do, so we would go hang out there sometimes. Back to that night. When my cousin sprang up and said that we had to go to the trestle now, I thought maybe he was joking or really baked. But he kept saying it and was dead serious. The trestle was about 30 minutes away and it had to be after midnight, but this was so crazy that we had to go. We started heading out the door. The rest of the band was outside on the porch and asked where the heck we were going. I told them what my cousin had said and they couldn't pass it up either. So all 6 of us piled into my cousin's '68 Ford Bronco and headed out. The 30-minute ride to the trestle was mostly silent except for a few, "What the hell are we doing?" and my cousin saying, "I don't know, I just feel like I have to get there." We turned down the gravel road that led to the abandoned tracks, followed it up about a half a mile, made a left turn, and we were looking at the trestle. We all got out of the Bronco and walked towards the bridge. We didn't even make it 10 steps when a faint light appears in the distance and keeps getting brighter. I remember one of us fearfully asking, "What the hell is going on?" That light keeps getting brighter and brighter, and then I finally comprehend what I'm seeing. It's a train. The train was grayish, completely silent, and passing from our right to left within 20 yards. Then out of nowhere, the train slows to a stop. At this point, I'm in such disbelief that all I can do is stare. I know I sound crazy, but I swear the next thing that happens is that people start walking off the train. They appeared, to my 20-year-old brain, to be wearing vintage clothing. I remember fedora hats on the men who were grabbing the bags, and women with Ingrid Bergman-style haircuts getting out of the cars. Next, it gets a bit fuzzy because it's been so many years, but the people just vanished, and the completely silent train starts moving again and slowly disappears. After the train was gone, we were all in complete shock. Then reality sets in. I remember running up to the track and looking across the trestle. Nothing was there. We start freaking out, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. I can't remember who yelled it, but someone screamed, "Let's get the out of here." We bolted to the Bronco, tore down the gravel road, and 37 years later, I remember it like it was yesterday. When we got back to the house, we all talked about what happened until morning. We knew that no one would believe us and decided to keep it to ourselves. When the internet became a thing, I decided to do some research, and what I came up with is chilling. On November 22, 1942, 7 persons were killed and many others injured in the wreck of the Royal Palm passenger train, on that trestle in my very hometown. It was on fire as the train crossed. The southbound train passed over the trestle, 2 mail cars and the first 6 passenger coaches were derailed. Most of them overturned down a 12-foot embankment. 1 fell into the 1-foot deep water. The last 2 of the 10 coaches remained on the tracks. There was no official explanation of the fire which was eating away at the wooden trestle. The theory was that the heat bent the tracks just enough to cause the derailment. I know that no one will believe my story, but after all these years, I thought it was my time to finally tell it. I'm 59 years old and my band is Grammy nominated. Sam is not my real name. I made a promise that I would keep that to myself. Thank you, Ron, for telling my crazy story. Well, Sam, I had to do some research as well. I found your train crash without any trouble. I know what town you are from, and there is a famous band that came from there, but I too will keep that to myself. Thank you for sharing your story. It is amazing. Well, that's all we have time for. If you have a story that you want to share, head to the main website at ronsamazingstories.com. Click on the story submission banner, leave your story, give it a title, and please tell me where you're from. I'll read it if I can.
Take a trip, take the train, and be sure to get there. Go New Haven. When you make a date in New York, you know for sure you will be there. If you take the train, the dependable, comfortable, convenient, low-cost way. When you take a trip, take the train. Ride the New Haven Railroad.
The smart way to go to New York is on the New Haven. Smart because it saves you money without sacrificing your comfort. Recline in a soft, upholstered New Haven parlor car chair as you read or relax your way to the center of the city without concern for weather or traffic. Stretch your legs and enjoy fine food and service in the New Haven dining car. It's the smart way, the sure way to travel. Next time, go New Haven. You can depend on it.
When you take a trip, take the train. Ride the New Haven Railroad.
Our featured story comes from a new OTR series to the show. It was suggested by listener Brad Sutton from Los Angeles. I've not heard of Academy Award Theater before. They presented 30-minute adaptations of plays, novels, or films. Like others in the genre, they brought in leading actors to recreate their Academy Award performances. Some of these included Henry Fonda in Young Mr. Lincoln, Humphrey Bogart in The Maltese Falcon, and Cary Grant in Suspicion. There were many shows like this at the time, and they were extremely popular. Our story today brings in award-winning actor Rex Harrison. More about him later. What you're going to hear today is a suspenseful story titled Night Train. However, when it was in the theater in 1940, it was titled Night Train to Munich. After Germany invades Czechoslovakia, the German and British intelligence services try to capture Czech scientist Dr. Axel Bomasch, the inventor of a new type of armor plating. This episode first aired on Academy Award Theater on November 13th, 1946.
The House of Squibb presents Academy Award. Tonight, Rex Harrison in Night Train. Every week, Squibb brings you Hollywood's finest. The great picture plays, the great actors and actresses, techniques and skills chosen from the honor roll of those who have won or been nominated for the famous Golden Oscar of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. For generations, the House of Squibb has been known for the high quality and unfailing dependability of its products, each the result of a never-ending quest for perfection. Today, the great family of Squibb products reflects the tremendous advance of science in its contribution to human health and well-being. The name Squibb stands for progress through research. Squibb is a name you can trust. Tonight, Squibb brings to Academy Award the well-known screen actor Rex Harrison. You will hear Mr. Harrison in the role he created for the screen in the thrilling mystery Night Train, the picture which, for the Best Original Screen Story of the Year, was nominated for the 1941 Academy Award.
My real name is Randall, but I was known once as Major Herzog. I've a number somewhere around the place and some newspaper clippings and a medal. Yes, I've about everything one needs, including nightmares to remind me that not so long ago I was one of those calm, nerveless chaps the books describe as a British agent. Right now, I'm addicted to gardening, and I propose to cultivate the gentle passion for the rest of my days. Unless, of course, they need me, which God forbid. My little excursion into darkest intrigue began about the time Mr. Chamberlain's umbrella failed to open at Munich, and we entered that Gilbert and Sullivan era known then as the Phony War. Now, believe me, there was nothing phony about mine.
Oh, hello, Randall. How are you?
Fine.
Sorry to bring you down to London tonight. We must apologize, too, for all the secrecy, but we've got a crisis again.
I know.
We were just discussing the Bomasch affair.
Yes,
you slipped up badly there, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, we needed Bomasch frightfully, you know. And after all our trouble in getting him away from the Nazis and out of Germany, You let them come along and steal him away from under your nose.
Yes, well, you see, they were very convincing, posed as officers in the Royal Navy. Said they were to take him to dinner aboard Admiral somebody's ship.
They dined him all right, but aboard one of their U-boats.
I underestimated their nerve.
Well, the War Office has been stinking about it. They take the view that this armor plating of Bomasch's will make all the difference in the coming war.
And by tomorrow night, Bomasch will be in Berlin, where they won't lose any time in putting the screws on the poor devil.
Tomorrow night? That means he won't be at the Admiralty until, let's see, Saturday morning.
Well, that's about it. Why?
Nearly 48 hours.
What are you driving at?
Well, they got him out of England. Why shouldn't we get him back?
Oh, but that's quite impossible.
Why? I know my way about. Speak German like a stormtrooper. I spent 5 years in Berlin.
We might be in a shooting war before you get back. You know what that would mean.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know perfectly well I can't give you permission to do it, and the fact that you make such a proposal shows you're obviously not yourself. You agree?
Well,
I quite agree with you. Well, Randall, I suggest you take a week's sick leave. Take a complete change of air.
Well, I must say this is mighty sporting of you, Randall. Patriotic and all that. The highest tradition of the service.
Right.
Oh, it's nothing so noble as all that. And after all, gentlemen, I did blot my copybook a bit, and then, of course, there's Bomasch's daughter.
Really? I say. A touch of romance, eh?
Well, sort of. Gentlemen, I'll need some letters of introduction and that sort of thing. And oh, yes, is there someone about who could draw up my will? Well, it wasn't really so bad, getting into their benighted country. I had some wonderful credentials, a beautiful uniform and the manners of a pig. My German was excellent, and my Heil Hitlers were things of beauty. I called upon Commander Kampenfeld at the Admiralty in Berlin.
This is to introduce to you Major Ulrich Herzog of Corps Engineers. Major Herzog is in Berlin on an important technical mission for which he requires Admiralty assistance.
I want to refer to certain technical evidence given before the Naval Heavy Armaments 1935 Committee. If you will let me have a copy of the report, Commander.
Certainly, Major. It will take only a moment. I have my own filing system here. Have you been in Berlin long, Major Herzog?
9. I only left the Siegfried Line last Tuesday.
Things must be pretty hectic there.
Yeah, indeed. I was there in a consultative capacity, steel fortifications. You possibly have heard.
Oh, yes, of course. How is our steel?
Crop plating is poor. That is why I am in Berlin. Do you realize that the steel used by the Czechs is better than anything we have got?
Mm-hmm. But surely now that we control the Skoda works...
Not enough. We let the only man who counted there slip through our fingers.
Bomasch.
Yeah. Wonderful fellow on armor plating. Produced incredible results. And where is he? Working for Britain.
No. Bomasch is no longer in England.
What?
He was brought back to Germany only a few hours ago. In fact, Major, he's in this building right now.
Well, this completely alters my plans. Perhaps you can arrange for me to see Herr Bomasch at once.
I'm afraid it is impossible.
But surely there is no harm in my asking him a few questions.
It is beyond my province, Major. If you could get permission from Admiral von Hassinger, but nein, his office is like a kingdom of heaven, and if anything, a little bit more exclusive.
But you do not mind trying, Commander. After all, I've always felt I'd more or less earned the right to get one foot at least in heaven.
Anna, it is useless for your father to resist us like this. You must persuade him. You will both be given reasonable freedom.
Freedom? Here?
In time, you will see things the way I do, the way everyone in Germany does.
I'm not a German.
Germany is as much your country as it is ours. We don't hate the Czechs. We only wish to protect them.
And you are protecting the people of Poland?
That's enough. You have gone too far, Fräulein Bomasch. You will be placed in a concentration camp until your father comes to his senses.
Must you drag my daughter into this?
Achtung! The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral von Hassinger.
Well, Karl Maaßen, is this the way the Gestapo conducts a meeting? Herr Bomasch wringing his hands, his daughter in tears. Come, man, there must be more persuasive methods of getting valuable cooperation.
Excellency.
Oh, never mind. This is Major Herzog, Corps of Engineers. Perhaps you've heard of him, the man behind the Siegfried Line. Eh, Herzog?
Only one of the men, sir. The Führer is responsible for the line as he is responsible for everything.
Hitler.
Herr Hitler.
I'd like to have your report, Maaßen, now.
Certainly, Admiral.
You will remember me, Herr Bomasch? I did not expect you to see you again so soon. And you, Fräulein Bomasch? I see you have not forgotten. It must be 4 years.
Oh, yes, it must be.
Just a moment, Major. I'm sorry, but I must ask Herr Bomasch and Fräulein Bomasch to step into the other room. Guard, take them away.
This way.
Maybe we will meet again, gnädiges Fräulein.
I thought it unwise, sir, to speak in front of Bomasch. So far, we've made no impression on him.
I do not agree. He looks 10 years older. Bomasch is not the one to be bullied in the cooperation.
No? What would you suggest?
I knew Fräulein Bomasch in Prague. She has a great influence on her father and is the one person who can make him change his mind.
Oh, Maaßen here has tried that. He's our Gestapo man who got the Bomasches out of England under the very noses of British military intelligence.
My congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir.
But if I may say so, I do not think Herr Maaßen is a suitable person to influence the lady.
Then who do you think would be more suitable?
Myself, for instance?
You?
Why not? You saw the way she looked at me when I came in. I think if you were to spend a few hours with her, I might induce her to reason with her father.
You knew her that well in Prague?
It was spring, sir.
Well, I think you're something of a dog, Major.
I doubt, sir, whether the Major's qualities will make an impression on her, sir.
I did not know that you were acquainted with my qualities, sir.
Well, we let him try it. No harm done. If he doesn't succeed, leave all the arrangements to me. This requires knowledge of maneuvers, eh, Major?
Oh, quite, Admiral. Definitely.
Good luck. Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler! Well, so far, so good. Miraculously good. I went to the hotel where the Bomasches were kept prisoners. I convinced them, especially Anna, that she'd have to play up to me, to behave as if we were renewing an old love affair that began in Prague in the spring. Anna tells me now, or when I get around to asking her, that she was only acting then. But of course, that's the way of wives, isn't it? Anyway, I wasn't acting my part at all. I meant it. Oh, one more thing. I shall have to spend the night here.
That is necessary.
Yes, the place is absolutely crawling with Gestapo. Have you any sporting instinct?
Why?
I'll toss you who takes the couch in the other room.
You behave as if this were all a joke. Don't you realize how much depends on our getting out of Germany?
No good being intense about it. I don't like the facing a firing squad any better than you do.
What do you mean?
England may be at war with Germany tomorrow.
Oh.
Now just keep trying. Try to pretend you find me unbearably attractive.
If a woman ever loved you like you love yourself, it would be history. Now what?
I'll take it. Hello? German Admiralty. Hello? Yeah? Herzog here. Ja, sir?
Sorry to disturb you at this hour, Major Herzog. We have had to alter our plans. Orders have come from Munich that Bomasch is to go there by first plane.
But this is ridiculous. Cannot that be delayed for a few hours?
Impossible. The plane leaves in an hour. Führer's orders. Heil Hitler.
What is happening?
They're sending your father to Munich at once. There's only one chance. Leave this hotel. Scuttle. It's an old German custom.
But the guards downstairs.
We got into the Admiralty, and we'll get out of here. Get your clothes together. I'll tell your father. We leave in 5 minutes.
I have been instructed, sir, to leave immediately with Herr Bomasch.
I shall not require you.
Very well, sir. Shall I get you a taxi, sir?
I will call one myself.
Wait.
Steady. We've got to act as if we were under Hitler's orders.
Look, we're trapped. Gestapo Chief, Herr Maaßen.
Well?
Well?
I didn't expect you to be here in the lobby waiting, Major. I'm ordered to escort Herr Bomasch and his daughter to Munich.
Really? The controller phoned me a few minutes ago, and I was about to drive them to the Admiralty myself.
Orders were changed, sir. We are to take the train.
Of course, the train.
It leaves in 50 minutes.
Very well. We are ready.
You, sir?
Certainly. Were you not told? I have the Admiral's authority to travel with them. You see, he feels it essential that Herr Bomasch should be persuaded to comply with our wishes before he reaches headquarters. I was progressing extremely well with Fräulein Bomasch when this happened.
I see. Very good, sir.
Yes, excellent. This way, Herr Bomasch, your arm. My car, Fräulein. The Führer is waiting.
And now the House of Squibb presents Part 2 of Academy Award, starring Rex Harrison in Night Train.
Everybody out of this train.
What is the matter, Herr Maaßen? This is not a scheduled stop for the express.
I do not know, sir. Very unusual. But then these are unusual times. If you will escort Fräulein and Herr Bomasch, I'll find out the trouble.
Of course. Come, my dear, we've got to get off here.
But, darling, I thought the Führer was in such a hurry for us to arrive in Munich.
Shh, one doesn't question the vagaries of the Führer.
I beg your pardon, Major. What was that you said?
I said one does not question the orders of the Führer.
Of course not. Heil Hitler.
Hail Hitler. Watch your step, Fräulein. This way, Herr Bomasch.
I say, did you notice that German officer who just came out of the train?
Yes, Caldecott. Why?
Well, my dear Chalmers, I could have sworn it was old Dickie Randall. We were at Bailey together. He played for the gentleman once.
Really? But if he's a German officer, how could he be Dickie Randall? Huh? Well, here they come. Why don't you ask him, old boy?
Yes, I shall, old boy. I say, excuse me, old boy, but aren't you old Dickie Randall?
Mayor Herzog, Corps of Engineers.
Oh, frightfully sorry. Dash it, I must say he looked like old Dickie. It's quite extraordinary.
That man, you know him?
Yes, Helicore Caldecott. It was close.
What will happen when we get to Munich?
The car will be waiting. Probably a big crowd. I shall ask for a second car so we can be alone.
Suppose they don't give it to us.
They will, because by that time we shall be on the verge of persuading your father to work for Germany. But you, on the other hand, must be asking for time to think. You get the idea?
Yes, but how can we...
Well, we have only the chauffeur to deal with, and after that, Switzerland.
Switzerland? A long way from Munich.
The only way out of this fortress. We shall have to make it.
I say, do you know why we stopped, old man?
No, I don't. Why?
Oh, I just had it from a train man. Old England's declared war.
Not really.
I say, I want to put a call through to Berlin.
Oh? Why?
I left my golf sticks there. Can't leave them behind just because of war on, you know. Oh, here's a booth. Oh, excuse me. That German chap in there, that's the one with old Dickie. If it was old Dickie.
I say, try this extension.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Martin reporting, sir.
I say, listen.
Good. Major Herzog is not known to the War Office. No officer of that name on the list. We believe him to be an enemy agent. Yes, sir. You will carry on with him to Munich. Let him think he's getting away with it. We will be waiting for you there.
Very good. Heil Hitler.
Interesting, what?
Very. Herzog isn't Herzog. And they're going to do him in when we get to Munich.
Then if old Herzog isn't old Herzog, the chap might be...
Right.
Yes.
He might jolly well be old Dickie Randall. Joe.
All aboard!
Crowded in here. I wonder if I could wash my hand.
I say, if you're Dickie Randall, old chap, you're batting on a sticky wicket.
All right, Collicut, I got your note. What is it?
Oh, this is Charters, an old friend of mine.
How do you do?
How do you do? Frightfully crowded here, what?
What's it about?
Well, I was phoning Berlin for my golf clubs when old Charters overheard that chap you were with. Looks like a Gestapo chap.
He is a Gestapo chap.
You know they're sending a military escort to arrest you in Munich.
Yes. You see, you're Randall. Randall, aren't you? Yes, of course you are. And they know that you're not Herzog.
Now listen, I can't tell you everything. There isn't time. But I've got to get that old man and the girl out of the country at all costs.
What, an official job?
Are you two fellas game to help me?
What, against Germany?
Absolutely, old man. Backs to the wall.
Rather.
Gnädiges Fräulein, is there tea left?
Yes, I think so, Ulrich.
There's no time for tea. We are coming into the Munich station. Enough of this comedy. There is no such person as Major Herzog. He's a British agent trying to get you and your father out of Germany.
Ulrich!
Forget the Ulrich, darling. The Gestapo knows everything.
Thank you. You're going to give yourself up?
Looks like it, Herr Bomasch.
Don't you realize what this means?
Yes, I do, but he's got a gun and I haven't. What you take me for, Bulldog Drummond?
Oh, I told you this would happen. Your scheme was absolutely childish. Why didn't you stay in England instead of coming over here and deliberately throwing your life away? You fool.
Thank you, my sweet. Look out.
No!
Shut up, Gestapo! I'll give you that gun and get to sleep.
Oh, that was so fast.
Oh, yes, I can move once in a while.
You called for the guard, Major Herzog?
Beastly fit, these Nazi uniforms, eh?
Okay, Collicut, Charters. You can carry the Gestapo into another compartment and lock the door.
Very good, sir. I say, it looks like we've struck a blow for old England already, eh? Come on, lift him up, Collicut. There's a good fellow.
Where are the Nazi guards?
Oh, well, we found it very necessary to drop them off in the tunnel. Probably never be found.
The military escort is coming.
What do we do now?
We bluff it through. I'll order Collicut to drive, then we'll make a dash for Switzerland.
Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
Orders from the 5th Army headquarters for the arrest of Major Herzog.
I fear you will need a stretcher. The prisoner tried to escape and I had to deal with him. You will find him in the last compartment, coach 66. What transport have you?
2 cars, sir.
Excellent. I should take one. I am under orders to escort Herr and Fräulein Bomasch to General von Klontisch without delay.
Very good, sir. Coach 66, you said, sir.
Right. That will be all. Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
I say, old Dickie, we're being followed.
Of course.
I may be a bit silly, but how do we get across the Swiss frontier?
Narrow road leads up to the top of the mountain.
What's over the top?
Switzerland.
Anything in between?
6,000 feet drop.
They're gaining on us.
Shooting, I say, they can't do that.
I hope you're right. Now, hold on. We turn here for the summit. Never mind the car. We gained about 5 minutes on them. Here's the cable car.
You mean we have to cross in that basket?
That or nothing, darling.
Yes, sir?
We want to cross to Switzerland.
Sorry, sir. We are at war. I had orders yesterday to close the cable car.
You have new orders from Gestapo headquarters in Munich.
Yes, sir. But I must phone for verification.
That'll have to be your verification. Now, in you go, darling. You too, Herr Bomasch, quickly.
I say, do we know how to operate this thing now? Perhaps we shouldn't have shot that chap.
Well, we'll run it somehow. You chaps better pile in. I'll start the mechanism and try to keep those nuts off until you get across.
No, nothing stirring, old bean. All or nothing. We'll stay. Eh, Charters?
Of course. Nothing else a chap can do. Back to the wall.
Now, come on, get started. You chaps go in with the others. Carry on for me if anything happens. Remember, the Bomasches must get to England.
No, I won't leave without you.
Now get in and shut up. I'm starting the motors.
We can't leave you. Couldn't run out on old Dickie.
Get going. That's an order.
Darling. I'll be waiting.
Goodbye, darling.
Look out, Randall.
Here they come.
Get the man in the control room! Yeah. You others shoot down the cable car basket! Kill them all!
I won't leave here till I know what has happened to him.
But, my dear, we can't stay overnight atop this mountain, even if we are in Switzerland.
Poor old Dickie. They must have got him.
Well, the shooting has stopped. I think we'd better carry on. Orders he gave, you know. Take the Bomasches to England.
Yes, right you are. It seems a shame, though, to leave old Dickie's body on Kraut soil. After all, you know, he played for the gentleman.
We don't know what happened. The fog closed down. We can't see across.
Oh, it's no fog, old girl. It's a cloud. A big old cumulus nosing around.
Listen.
I say, it's the old cable car. Maybe those chaps mean to come across after us. I wish I had a gun.
Now, take it easy, Mr. Bomasch. We'll give them a bit of a reception. Hey, Caldecott? I used to shoot with the guards, you know.
Get back, girl, get back. We'll need all the room. Take a position, Charters.
Right, I'm ready.
And shoot when you see the red tips of their snouts.
Steady on. Here it comes. Blast that cloud in our way.
It's coming out of the cloud. Steady.
Give them a hail, old boy.
Halt there, I say, or we shall commence hostilities.
I can't see anyone for the cloud. Look out for a trick.
Darling. Are you there?
Hello, darling. Caldecott, give me a hand.
Dickie! But, Harry, how did you get away from them?
Pull me out of this thing and then cut the cables. You ready?
Oh, not for questions now. Grab his hand. Now, Charters, I'll blast the cable when he's safe aground.
Hurry it up. We can't take forever.
Well, here we are, Dickie. Grab my hand.
Here we go.
Look out, look out. Here goes the cable.
Well, I guess that takes care of everything. Except...
Oh, darling.
Yes, except the bride. You may tell the papers that the bride wore Edelweiss, and the wedding march was yodeled by the quaint peasants in Alpine Tower. We shall shove off. Old England's quite a walk from here.
There's a new adventure and refreshment awaiting you in every tube of Squibb Dental Cream. Until you try Squibb Dental Cream yourself, you'll never know how pleasant or exhilarating a dentifrice can be. Its name tells you that Squibb Dental Cream is a safe, pure, effective aid to better cleansing. But let your senses tell you how exhilarating Squibb Dental Cream is. Brush it into lively mint-frosted foam and note how Squibb Dental Cream not only helps to brighten your smile, but leaves your whole mouth feeling young and alive, contributing to your sense of well-being. Too much to expect of a dentifrice? Not when it's Squibb Dental Cream, one of the great family of Squibb products. So give your charm the protection it deserves, the protection of pure, fragrant Squibb Dental Cream. Taste, feel, and see the refreshing difference. Next Wednesday, another great picture. The House of Squibb will present Academy Award starring Greer Garson in Brief Encounter. Today's performance of Night Train was written for radio by Frank Wilson with an original musical score composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Our producer-director is Dee Engelbach. Rex Harrison appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox and may soon be seen in their production of The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. This is Hugh Brundage bidding you goodnight until next Wednesday at the same time, when you're invited to listen again to Academy Award, presented by the House of Squibb, a name you can trust. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
I love these old spy thrillers. At the time this one came out, we were just coming out of World War II, and people ate this up like candy. The star of our story was Sir Reginald Carey Rex Harrison. He was an English actor. Harrison began his career on the stage in 1924. He made his West End debut in 1936, starring in the Terence Rattigan play French Without Tears, in which was his breakout role. He won his first Tony Award for Best Actor in a play for his performance as Henry VIII in the Broadway play Annie for 1,000 Days in 1949. He returned to Broadway portraying Professor Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady, where he won the Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical. In addition to his stage career, Harrison also appeared in numerous films. His first starring role was opposite Vivien Leigh in the romantic comedy Storm in a Teacup, 1937. He's probably best known for his role in My Fair Lady, 1946, which earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor. However, some would argue, myself included, that his best movie was Dr. Dolittle in 1967. Truly an amazing actor.
We're here at ringside to interview Punchy Lemaire. Punchy, all set for your big fight.
Against Pretty Boy Purcell? Yeah, I'll kill him.
I've heard Pretty Boy's pretty rough.
Rough? How can he be rough when he rides the Chicago and Northwestern commuter streamliner downtown every day?
What's that got to do with it?
Well, any third-rate fighter knows that stretching out in those soft, comfortable seats ain't gonna toughen you up, you know what I mean?
Sure, Punchy.
There ain't nothing on that Northwestern to get him riled up either. Temperature's always right, the ride is smooth. And he don't gotta worry about lousy weather slowing him down, know what I mean?
Sure, Punchy. Then you don't ride the Northwestern during rush hour.
No, I drive in. You ought to see me screaming and hollering and banging my fists all the way downtown. By the time I get to the gym, I'm ready to tear the place apart, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you mean you actually enjoy fighting expressway traffic.
Yeah, they don't call me Punchy for nothing.
Go Northwestern, go Northwestern, it's the very best way to go. It's the very best way to go.
That was episode number 622, and band member Sam Waters, not his real name, provided our story today. I also want to thank Brad Sutton for telling me about Academy Award Theater. Thank you both. If you want to follow the podcast or the blog, head to ronsamazingstories.com. There you will find any of the links I mentioned and how to contact us. Do you want to help the show? The best thing you can do is to tell your friends all about it, and please leave reviews or feedback wherever you listen. Clicking that follow or like button helps us grow. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come again to find out what are Ron's Amazing Stories.
All of the vintage audio used in the podcast is believed to be in the public domain. Ron's Amazing Stories does not own the rights to any of the old-time radio used here. If you hold the rights to any of the shows played, please contact us immediately at ronsamazingstories.com.